evening, Grace Baptist Church. I'm certainly glad you were able to join us tonight. Tonight we have our missionaries to England, Seth and Joanna Izer, and they're going to share with us how this COVID-19 has affected them and their ministry while they're here in the United States.
Good evening to you all. We're very thankful for the chance to be here and to share just what the Lord has been doing in our lives, in our ministry, and amidst these uncertain times with the COVID-19. And it is amazing how the Lord has timed these things, and we trust Him in that. And it is very certain we've decided that we're going to move forward by faith and not by fear. Many people are scared. Many people are worried what's going to happen. And it does have a very real impact on us all, but the Lord is still in control. He's still on the throne. Our hope is not in Donald Trump. Our hope is in Jesus Christ. And so we're thankful for that. Amidst all of this, as is true for all of you, we have been kind of required to remain at home. And so many of our church meetings, as here at Grace, have been canceled. So many of the meetings that we had lined up for the rest of our time here have been canceled. And so we've been unable to go to those meetings. And that has had an impact on us, no doubt. We've been blessed, though. Some of the churches that are doing live streams have invited us to come and actually join and be a part of their live stream and different things like that. So we're trying to move in that way, and we're very thankful for that. I do want to ask you guys all to pray with me very specifically about one thing, and that's about our visa situation. And we are in a unique situation, a bit of a limbo, if you will, with our visas. And my visa application was sent in. Everything had been filled out, and it was sent to the visa processing center. And then they sent it back to me. And they, with a letter that told me that amidst the COVID-19 virus, they were considered a non-essential business and therefore were shut down during this time. And so I received my application back. And so until those centers, the processing centers, open back up, I'm unable to get a visa to go to the United Kingdom. We are exploring different alternatives, looking into that, no doubt. But that's the situation. With that also, we are going to have to apply for an extension of Joanna's visa. And so I do ask that you guys would pray very specifically for that. We've been told from the United States border agency and companies like that we need to wait until April 1st to be able to call them back and hopefully apply for her to extend her visa. And so I do ask you guys to be in much prayer for that. There's a fear at a time like this, and the uncertainty and not knowing what's going to happen next, that she could be sent back to the United Kingdom and we could be separated, and that's not something that we want. Through all this, though, the Lord has opened up more opportunities than we would have anticipated, and I'll let Joanna share a little bit about that.
The ministry that we work with over in England, the Crown Christian Heritage Trust, have just started putting out children's programs on Facebook, and we're able to be part of that. So that's given us a lot to do and a lot to be busy with, but still being able to share the gospel with children and others, like so many other churches are doing right now on the internet and on the live stream. So we're really happy to be part of that, and grateful the Lord's given us something to do. We're glad to still be in some way part of the ministry, even though we're staying at home like most people are. So we're grateful for that and very thankful.
It is cool how, though very many things are uncertain, and though many of us are spending our time at home, it allows us to explore new opportunities. And even a video like this is an amazing thing that this COVID-19 has allowed us to do. And so we're thankful for that. I would like to share with you just one thought from Matthew chapter 24. And times are uncertain. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what the new laws will be. We don't know if we'll be allowed outside. We don't know if we'll be able to go grocery shopping. We don't know anything really. And it's a reminder to us and encouraging to us that we're not guaranteed tomorrow. And because we don't know what's going to happen. Students have been sent home from their university. College students who were in their senior years and they were to graduate and they were going to walk were sent home. Well, things changed. They had to say goodbye to their friends like that. And the same is true in many situations. And things are uncertain. But this gives us a time and a chance to examine ourselves. As we come and we're at our own homes, we're alone, maybe with just our children and our families. It gives us a time to examine ourselves. And this is something, especially as Christians, we need to do. And when you look back in history and you read about like the Wesley brothers, John and Charles Wesley, they were men who were constantly examining themselves. Jonathan Edwards was one of these, and he had a list of questions that he'd written down that at the end of a day or end of a week, he would examine himself and he'd say, where am I at in my Christian life? And maybe this would be a good thing for all of us to do in a time like this, is to examine ourselves. Where am I at? What am I doing? And I wonder if you are today farther along in your Christian life than you were, let's say, 5 years ago. Are you more like Christ today than you were 2 years ago? Realistically, we should be, right? We should be growing in our faith. We should be becoming more and more holy as Christ called us to be holy, for He is holy. We should become more sanctified, more set apart and separate in these things. But I wonder, are you? Am I? And so in Matthew chapter 24 here, we find the Lord Jesus Christ really in one of His second great sermons. We're familiar with the Sermon on the Mount. And in Matthew 24 and 25 here, we find Christ in one of his second great sermons, a closing sermon of His life, really, before He was to go to the cross. And in chapter 24, starting in the first few verses, really the first half of the chapter, Jesus Christ is prophesying of what's going to happen in Jerusalem. And in 70 AD, the second temple was destroyed. And that's what many Bible scholars, and even in my own study, I see that this is a prophecy of that destruction that was coming in 70 AD. And one of the interesting things about it, though, is you'll notice in verse number 7, Jesus Christ is telling what's going to happen in the future. And in verse number 7, He says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places." And it's interesting there because that word pestilence literally means diseases. And it is exactly the kind of thing that we're going through right now with the coronavirus. It is a disease, it's a virus, and that's what it's speaking about. And Christ was saying these things are going to happen as times draws to an end. But then in the second portion of this passage, we see that Christ goes into a warning for Christians amidst the times of the return of Christ. And we know Christ is coming again. He promised that. He said, if I go, I will come again. In the book of John, He promised that. And so notice what it says in verse number 42 to verse 46. It says this, "Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known, and the watch the thief would come, he would have watched, and would not have suffered his house to be broken up." Verse number 44, "Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not the Son of Man cometh, who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord hath made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season. Blessed is that servant, whom his Lord, when He cometh, shall find so doing." And there's really three things here that we need to do. We need to be awake, we need to be paying attention, and we need to be active. He says, watch, be awake. He says, be ready, be attentive. And then He says, be found so doing, be active. And I wonder, in your Christian life, are you awake to the reality, the spiritual reality of this world? Are you awake to the fact that Satan is walking about as a roaring lion seeking to be made devour? Are you awake? Are you watching for the second coming of Christ? Are you ready? Have you even put your faith in the Lord Jesus Christ? Are you attentive? Are you paying attention? So, some of you might be awake, but you might be very lazy in your Christian life. In a time like this, it's easy to be lazy. You know what? It's easy to spend more time on Facebook than in the Word of God. And if Christians spent half as much time reading God's Word than they did reading and scrolling through Facebook, we wouldn't have half the panic that we have in our world right now. It's true. And then, are you active? What are you doing? You say, well, I'm cooped up at home. Well, this is a great time to spend time reading and praying. Spend time with your children, teaching them the things of God. And spend time in a family worship. And so I encourage you guys to be ready, because Christ is coming again. And may this be a time that we examine ourselves. And once again, we want to thank you guys so much for praying for us, for supporting us at a time like this. And as a church, we're very thankful for you. And we're thankful for what you guys have done and the sacrifices you have made on our behalf. And so thank you guys so much.
Thank you for watching this evening, Grace Baptist Church. I hope that you are blessed and informed by what's going on with Seth and Joanna. I have just a couple of updates for you tonight. I want to give you an update about Barry. Barry is improving. In the last 37 days, he's been in the Waynesboro Hospital, the Chambersburg Hospital, and now at Hershey. And they did a procedure just a couple of days ago, and it seems to be working. But please, Carmen's request is that you don't stop praying. Oftentimes when things get away for a long time, you begin to stop praying for that certain situation. But continue to pray for Barry and Carmen. I know that they'd appreciate that very much. And just a note from Lisa and I, we just want you to know that we miss you. It's not normal not being here at church on Sunday and seeing everyone and all of our friends. So I'd like to challenge you real quickly at the end here is to gather your family together and take a picture and text it to me just so that I would have that, and that way I know who's listening, and it'd just be an encouragement to me to see your faces. All right? Thank you so much for being with us. Bye.